Welcome back to talking about the second element of art today, and we are talking about value. So today we're going to complete the value splotch on your element of art palette. So let's take a look. Okay, to complete this splotch down here on the lower left-hand corner, you are going to need today a pencil, a ruler or a straight edge. You can always use your pencil box, and eventually your colored pencils. The first step of this project is to divide this space into half. Now it already has a little notch in it, and that makes it nice and easy. So I'm going to use my pencil and my trusty ruler to go ahead and draw a line. And it may not be perfectly equal, just like when we were dealing with creating the sections of the color wheel. This isn't necessarily going to be perfectly even because we're dealing with splotches, so that's fine. Now, we're gonna make one side of this an achromatic scale, meaning no color, and the other side is going to be monochromatic, meaning one color. And once we've divided it in half, we need to section these off into 5 sections across to make what's called a graduated scale. And graduated is just a fancy large term that means steps. The opposite of a graduated scale is continuous. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball this. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, although I'm going to try to make it as even as I can. So I'm going to go very lightly with my eraser just to kind of make sure that if things go terribly wrong, I can erase without too much trouble. So I'm looking for 5 spaces. I am going to go ahead now and pick a color. And I think for this one, I am going to use blue. I'm going to use the dark blue rather than the light blue, just so that I get the complete tones. So what I'm going to do, remember that with a monochromatic scale, mono, of course, meaning one color, it goes from the darkest you can get that color to the lightest you can get that color. So it does not end in white, unlike an achromatic scale, which does end in white. So monochromatic scale, darkest to lightest. And by the way, I don't mind whether you go from light to dark or dark to light. It's up to you. My recommendation, though, is that you start in the middle, just kind of like we did up here with the middle of the color wheel, that you start in the middle, lay down a light tone, and then darken up. Don't try to go as dark as you can at first, because you actually won't get as rich tone. That's more important, again, when you're working on real art paper and with graphite pencils, but same thing here. So start lightly and build up your color. I'm going to pause there. One thing that you'll notice quickly is that just like on the color wheel, the saturation level that the paper can handle of your pencil, it's going to stop after a while. So if I were working on art paper, I'd be able to get this a lot darker. But if you can see, the pencil is just flaking up and coming off really easily on my finger because there's no teeth in this paper to hold it. So that is one major disadvantage of working on copier paper. Switching over to the achromatic scale now, what I'm going to have you do is, if you happen to have a black colored pencil, great. If you don't, feel free to use a regular art pencil for this. What we're going to do is going to go again from black, but this time will end in white. And whether you go from dark down or light up or do it opposite of the other one, doesn't matter to me at all. And again, I would recommend you sort of start in the middle, work your way down and lighten up your pressure point. Remember to leave this white, and then work your way back up and put on more layers. And I kind of think of this as it's divided into 5 steps. I think of applying 1 step here, 2 steps of color, like 2 coats of color here, 3 coats here, 4 coats here. So that would be how I would approach this. So remember, achromatic, black to white. Okay, I think that'll do it. So our last step is just to go ahead and label this color splotch. So I'm going to go ahead and label this value. And I'm going to label this side achromatic and this side monochrome, little hyphen, chromatic. All right, I hope you found that easy enough to do. This project shouldn't take you too long. So we'll be soon moving on to texture.